happy Pride, and thanks so much to the Victory Fund.
Hi, it's Pete Buttigieg here in South Bend, and I'm sending greetings to all of you, wishing you a happy Pride, and thanking you for your crucial support for the LGBTQ Victory Fund. Of course, this year's event, the National Pride Inside event, is coming at an unprecedented moment of challenge in the life of our country and around the world. In the national anguish over systemic racism, over the police violence that killed George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and too many others, every American is called to ask what each of us is doing in the struggle for racial justice. And we have this pandemic that has brought so much of life to a standstill in America, calling forth memories of a different confrontation with a deadly virus that ravaged generations of gay Americans, a story that has much to teach us in this moment. This is a time to reflect on allyship and to honor the leadership, especially leadership by queer people of color in our country and in our movement. Thinking back to the Black leaders whose response to police violence a half-century ago helped shape the course of Pride as we know it. This is also a time to make sure that the democratic process in this country produces leaders who will govern with a heart for justice, and make sure that we have greater representation of the underrepresented. The Victory Fund's mission matters more than ever. As you know, I launched my presidential campaign over a year ago with very little name recognition and a lot of people saying that I wasn't going to get anywhere as a mayor from the so-called Rust Belt, not to mention many who thought it was impossible, inconceivable to campaign for president as an out candidate, often joined by my husband, Chasten, at my side. Not automatically, but after we demonstrated we could compete, the Victory Fund did what it does so beautifully, which is see and support LGBTQIA+ candidates like me seeking to get our voices heard. They were my first national endorsement, and they provided my team and me with critical support and encouragement along the journey, showing up for us all across the country. And you were with me when we made history in the Iowa caucus, the first out candidate to win a state in a presidential nominating contest. Your support meant the world in that race. I was actually just as moved by the first endorsement that I earned from the Victory Fund. Back in 2015, when I was a mayor, newly out, on the ballot for re-election in Mike Pence's Indiana, the very same year as the so-called Religious Freedom Restoration Act was passed and signed in my state. Wondering whether my decision to be my true self was going to cost me the chance to serve in the future. Victory had my back then too, and is doing the same now across the country for so many candidates. So thank you, Victory Fund, for seeing and believing in so many of us. And for those of you watching, thank you for your support, and I encourage you to continue to support the Victory Fund so they can keep showing up for so many LGBTQIA leaders across the country who are leading or will lead with their help. Again, this year especially, Pride is a celebration, but also a recognition of struggle, and a time to recommit to support one another along the way. So whether you participate in Pride every year, or this is your first, or if you're not yet ready or safe to come out, wherever you are, I'm with you in that celebration and struggle this June and in the months and years to come. And I'm so thankful that the Victory Fund stands to make sure that our community is represented at every level. Thank you. Stay safe and stay involved.
Happy Pride.